So vlog 53 went well. We got some really cool feedback about the amazing Edge, and also, oh dear, we're having a bit of trouble getting through the door. And also Bear's appearance. He won't be on every vlog, I'm sorry. But now we're vlog 54, and come with me, we're going to level 3. So, when I came to New York, I didn't know anyone. And so my key strategy was to do as much networking as possible. I needed to meet people because I didn't know anyone. So my goal was network, go to as many events as I could go to. And then the second part of the strategy was to do as many speaking events as I could. Should we go this way? I think it's this way. To do as many speaking, I can just talk here for a sec. As many speaking gigs as I possibly could, because one of the things that I found when I got here was that nobody cared what I may have done or achieved or built in Australia. It was completely irrelevant. So basically, I came 16,000 miles. We're going to have to fix that up. And all my credibility was left in Australia. So anyway, at the end of, I was looking at my recaps of season 2, and I was talking about how happy I was that I'd done so many speaking events, and we'd networked a lot, and I had clients, and they were really happy with the work, and so I'd put a lot of effort into that because that's what I needed to do, and it had really worked. And then at the beginning of 2020, everything tanked, and I was on 0 revenue at the start. No more networking, and I didn't have enough of a runway or enough of a foundation, having not been here long enough. And luckily, we had Australia team, and I had to help support that, but I'd really just had to start all over again. Anyway, what's all this getting to? We had our first in-person event. So here at Primary, it was a networking event. It was actually hybrid, so we had some people online and some in person, and I was the speaker. So first event, first sort of networking speaking event. So that's where I'm taking you today.
That's it's like we all closed our eyes and then opened them, and 2 years later.
Crazy.
Ridiculous.
This is Dimitri. He's from France.
Hi, Lisa.
This is Lisa.
Nice
Lisa
to meet
owns
you.
this amazing establishment.
Yeah.
So,
Expecting to see so beautiful. Unfortunately, backlighting me instead of front lighting me. They know my good side, which is, I guess, back.
this lighting is a problem.
Portia
It's
has
like
some
bad.
good lighting here with speckles on her also.
Have a look.
Alright, so
Look at my thing.
Started. What we're going to do is we're going to go around, then we're going to hear from our featured speaker, Sel Watts, then Christina Hedrick, who is one of our ambassadors, and amongst other things that she's up to in life, is going to close the seat the last of her. Yeah, Lolita, I think you got to get your coffee on also.
Thank you. I am so excited to be sitting next to Lisa. It's been way too long. Oh my gosh, seriously. But also to see everyone around here and on Zoom. Wow. So I am going to have a little chat to you guys today about what we're seeing or what we've found that small business owners are feeling, and how business has changed since that crazy thing called COVID happened. Firstly, this is just a little bit about me. I started my business 14 years ago in Australia. Tyson and I come from the same area, the Gold Coast, best beaches in the world, if you didn't know, and expanded to New York a couple of years ago. And basically we work with small businesses, fast growth startups on everything related to people. So how do we have high performing, engaged people? How do we have well-structured companies to ensure that we can achieve our goals. So we're basically like an outsourced HR department, but we work from strategy level, so high-level work with the founders right through to all areas relating to your people. I also am a co-founder of an IoT company, which is pushing me out of my comfort zone, and the mother of 3 fast growth boys. And they are fast growth. I'm learning what teenager life is like. Whoa, that is some scary stuff, but that's a whole nother presentation. Okay, so today what I want to talk about is what's changed since we were last here, and what's been added to our plate as leaders, and what should we have been doing before but we must be doing now. So there are things that I would say to all of my clients: you have to be doing these things. Now it's even more important. So that's what I want to cover today. So some stats for you. Clearly, the biggest change for workplaces has been the fact that we have gone remote. There's been enormous change across the world, but really this is probably the biggest. And what's interesting to me is that in the US, it feels to me like we're not going to go back to full time in the office anytime soon, if ever, which for me is a concern because I'm a real believer in working together in person. However, there is a major preference amongst our clients' employees to be work from home because of the convenience and all of the things that we have experienced. So it's interesting to me because I didn't think that it would have the effect that it has had. Okay, so what's changed since we were last here? So some of us, our businesses, so some of us had to completely pivot. The pandemic totally wiped us out. Others closed down their businesses. Others, there was opportunities. So we've seen some really interesting businesses that have this has been the best opportunity for them, and they've been able to grow and really get on that wave. What's also been interesting is how people have now looked at their business. So their business may not have changed that much, but the way they look at it has changed. Is it still my mission? Do I really still care about this? Is this my purpose? How do I want it to be? Now I've had a chance to stop and breathe and look at my business. Is it how I want it to be? Do I still want to have all these people? So it's been interesting watching business owners taking time to reconnect with their business. Is it how they want it to be? Which segues to what's important to us. So one of the things that we have been talking to clients with a lot has been about getting to know your people again. Because as we have all gone through this huge experience, I doubt that there's any of us that didn't spend some time looking at our lives. Do we still want to live here? Some people have moved. Do I still want to be married to this person? Do I still want to do this job? Do I still want to spend my money on the things that I spend my money on? We've really had an opportunity to think, well, who am I and what do I want? Now, we've all gone through that, which means that your staff have also all gone through that. So what matters to them now? Are you actually asking them and finding out? And it's something that I highly recommend, is really finding out, getting to know your people again, because we all have changed in some way. And the other thing is our physical and mental health. So one of the things that we have noticed significantly is the word exhaustion, particularly related to, I'll say working mothers, but obviously fathers too. However, it seems that obviously there's usually more pressure on women with the parental responsibilities. And what parents at home have had to deal with over the last 18 months is beyond. And I think everyone just sort of dug in and did what they have to do, and now they're really feeling that physical and mental exhaustion from what happened. So that is coming up a lot, especially with my fellow female founders. So be careful there and make sure that whilst we're all ready to get going again, and we want to make sure we don't miss an opportunity to get back on the next wave of business growth, that we are definitely fueled and ready to go, because we're seeing some real strain there. So that's what we're hearing around our clients. Leaders. So as leaders, what has now been added to our big plates, full plates that we had before? I will say, when this first happened, what was so interesting to me was that as individuals, we're all like, what's going on? Like, what do we do? What do we do at home? How do we protect our families? All of these things. But as leaders, our staff were also looking to us for answers and guidance and security, and we were just the same as everyone else. We have no idea what was going on. So we had this extra pressure as leaders of our businesses where people were looking to us for answers which we didn't have. And I really acknowledge anyone who's a leader of a business with staff, because it added enormous extra pressure and expectation on us. Across the globe, a shortage of talent. I don't think there is a client or industry, and we work across all industries, that isn't noticing shortage of talent. So what that means is that we need to be really thinking through what our recruitment plans are, what we think we're going to need in 2022. If you want staff in 2022, you need to start recruiting now, and you really need to be thinking about your talent attraction strategies. As leaders, we need to be much more aware of people's mental health. One of the things that we have noticed, one of the things we've noticed is the things that are missing, like the water cooler conversations, the way we would connect with people in our businesses that we wouldn't necessarily at work, didn't work closely with them, but we'd get to know them from standing in the kitchen or that sort of thing. And understanding that people are used to utilise their commute as a way of helping with their mental health, connecting with the barista at Starbucks, just being outside, walking to get their lunch. These things have reduced and we haven't even noticed it. So we have to be much more aware, and I'm suggesting in every one-to-one, all of your performance reviews, all your discussions, that you are raising the question of how is your mental health. Finally, so must-dos. Really important to have outcome-based roles, outcome profiles for all of your positions, so people know exactly what they need to achieve, not just what they need to do, because the way you manage them now is very different. If you're not having weekly one-to-ones with your employees, you absolutely should be. I could do a 2-hour session just on one-to-ones. That's how important they are. Really recommending engagement surveys. Find out what your people need now, what they want, how they want to work, what they need from you, what's important to them, how's their mental health. They're different people to what they were a year ago, so reconnect. The way you run your culture and your connection within your business needs to be looked at from a completely different angle. So it's not about what's our culture, it's like what's our strategy for culture and connection. Measure what matters, not everything, but what actually matters now, and how you're going to measure it, because we're not sitting next to people face to face and having those conversations, or we don't have the visibility that we had before. And attraction strategies, which I talked about previously. So, all great changes are preceded by chaos. Well, I think we would all agree that we had a fair bit of chaos, but that is what we are seeing. That's probably about 5% of what we're seeing amongst our small businesses across the globe, but I hope that has been useful to some of you. And if you want to connect and talk about any of those particular topics, then you can find me everywhere. That's probably too many places. Like, that's too much. That's just too much, isn't it? It's too much. So what's? But yeah, too much. Enough now. Enough already. Okay, I'm going. Bye. I've really enjoyed the last few months where we've been talking to a lot of clients, and then today to the primary network about what business is like post-COVID. We're sort of post-COVID, and the impacts that we're seeing, what leaders need to be doing now, how we need to be thinking, and it's continually evolving. So I've got another presentation next week, and I've done more tweaks from what I presented to primary and adding more information because new things are coming. So that's been really interesting. I'm just, I love watching the small to medium business market and these the startup space, and so this is just a great time to be watching that. So that was number 2 of season 5. Woohoo! We'll see you next week. Don't forget to subscribe.